Chhaīrē, φίλε, and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at John chapter 4, verses 35, and I think I'm going to go ahead and go all the way through 36. If I'm only going to be putting out one video a week, I might as well make it a little bit longer. So there's that. I've also decided, since we're getting so far along in this chapter and in this story, that we should start at a new break point and just have 31 on until we finish. That way I'm not continuously flipping through page after page after page. So, previously in John chapter 4. I hope that's long enough for you. That here is our rubric, everything we look for as we go through the text. Let's get started. Uk humes legete hoti eti tetramenos estin kai ho therismos erketai. Idu lego humin et parate tus ophthalmus humon kai the asaste tas koras hoti leukai esin pros therismon. Ede ho theridzon mison lambane kai sunang trying to say it as if there's two gammas there, sorry. Sun age karpon es zoen ionion. Hina ho speron homu chhaīrē kai ho theridzon. And there we have it. So here we have Uk beginning this next line of Jesus speaking. So I'm gonna, do I normally? I don't remember normally if I put quote marks to repeat. I'm gonna leave them off. Anyway, legete, here we have our te ending for the second person plural, and is of course on the present stem. It's active and indicative. Note though that with uk at the beginning and this verb, we could have it as saying you do not say, or since we have with the editors that semicolon right there, which is the Greek question mark, this could be a question expecting a positive answer. This u in its forms introduce positive questions. You think this, don't you? Why, yes, I do. Whereas may and its forms introduce negative questions. You don't think this, do you? No, of course not. Which becomes very important in how you understand specific parts of the Bible, particularly in Corinthians, but that's another story. Uk, with that they think it's a question, so we should write in assumes yes. Humes, unnecessary repetition of the subject, nominative plural, masculine generic. Really we should say common. Legete, hoti's introducing a new clause, so we can stop right here. Do you all yourselves not say hoti that do estin here is a verb with a movable nu. It's present tense, no need to parse it any farther, but tetramenos with an Omicron sigma right there is going to be nominative, singular, and masculine. Note we've got tetra, so that's going to be 4, and then menos is the additive to the end of that to tell us what type of 4 it is, and in this case it's the calendar type, meaning 4 months. Eti, still estin tetramenos is not being connected to anything, because we've got a kai introducing another subject here, new verb with erketai, so this is a declarative emi. Estin singular, so is still 4 months. And note that English it's plural. Doesn't have to be in Greek. And I suppose we should say are still 4 months in English, but then that would be breaking away from what we find specifically in the text. So I think I'm going to leave the awkwardness of singular verb with plural subject. But anyway, and ho therismos, Omicron sigma there for nominative, singular, masculine subject. And this is the word for harvest. Erketai, I've seen before, don't need to do that again. The comes question mark. Idu, seen this before, just means behold, look. Lego omega right there for our nominative, our first person singular. Humin iota nu for our dative plural. So indirect object. I say to you. Eparate, got our te ending again for the second person plural. Note that we have an alpha right here rather than the eta as we would expect off of this aorist stem. Since we have an alpha, we know that te is not a indicative, but is in stack and infinitive. You look, it would be indicative if the epsilon had been there and contracted with the alpha off of ara, and then the two would have been come together eta. Because that's what happens if you recall from past tense verbs in the indicative. So aorist, active, imperative, and this means to lift up or raise, except not. There's a better word for raise. Normally that's used to raise bodies from the dead. Tous thalmus omicron upsilon sigma, omicron upsilon sigma. These two together are an accusative, plural, and masculine. So that's the direct object. Humon with the genitive plural right there, owning ophthalmos. Kai new clause right there. So tie this one off. Lift up your eyes. And this is from theao, so it is a contract. Sorry, not theao, it's theaomai. It's a deponent verb, so I should probably write that in. And that also explains osthe, sigma theta epsilon. This is going to be another aorist imperative. We know because of the sigma right there, and we have no augmenting vowel right here for the theta. So it's going to be second plural again, aorist. MPV and C. Tas, choras, alpha sigma right there for accusative, plural, and feminine. And this means land, district, place, or you could say country. So we could also say field. Hoti, new clause right there. So C, the fields. And this would be specifically when we talk about fields, we're talking about cultivated fields, not like a field of grass. So we need to add cultivated. Hoti, that. Leukai, alpha iota, right there. That's going to be nominative, plural, and feminine. Leukai pros therismon, there is no referent, and leukai is itself an adjective, so this is functioning substantively as a noun. And then esin, that's going to be our plural form of ami pros, prepositional phrase with therismon omicron nu right there, plus accusative, singular and masculine. That, say they, not substantive. It's just assuming choras. Shame on me for blasting right through that, sorry. Are, you could say white, bright, gleaming. And if you've ever driven through the countryside next to a wheat field, and then you see the sun shining down on it in the wind, and it kind of ripples, and it's the shining gold. I think that's the idea that we've got here, unless they had some sort of grain that actually grows white. That's probably a thing, but 2,000 years is a long time for something like that to last. I know they have some, I think they've reconstituted, this is a while now, some grain that they found in the tombs of the pharaohs, and it's got a whole bunch of different proteins or something in it. Wonder if that grew with the more white color. Plants don't normally grow white unless it's like bok choy or something. But anyway, that's beside the point. Pros plus accusative, therismon, we've already seen from right there. And this would be to the harvest, with the concept meaning for the harvest is how we would put it in English. Ede already. And then a curious break here where the next verse starts after the first verb in that clause. No, though we could technically read already with this. Editors have put the period in there. I've left it in there as I tend to do. But we could, as I said, assume possibly already, and that they are white for the harvest already. Or already, ho therizon lambane. So, omega nu right there is going to be a nominative, singular, masculine, off of the present stem, so present, active, participle. And we would understand this not so much as a participle, because it does mean the harvesting, but we could take it as a noun, just showing like occupation, so the harvester. Misthon omicron nu, accusative, singular, masculine. Lambane, epsilon iota sigma for third person singular present. Don't need to parse anymore. Harvester. So misthon would be usually one denarius as the pay that we, as far as we're aware, unless they were in the military, and then there's some disagreements. There are some scholars who think that members of the military received less than a denarius a day, so it would be a day labor. You got paid more if you got a job than if you served in the military. And soon age, this is going to be another present tense. I'm going to pull from right there. And this ago, of course, means to lead, to guide, to go. And then soon means with, so you'll lead with. The idea there, I guess, is something along the lines like you gather together. So he's received his wages and he gathers together. Karpon, omicron nu there for an accusative, singular and masculine, because karpos, karpon, karpu. Ace, prepositional phrase plus the accusative, which we find with zoane, ionion, new clause right there, so we stop, singular and feminine. For, as we've seen, pros used not pros, ace used many times before and throughout the New Testament, really. So, life, or eternal, comma, hina, so that. It's probably a purpose clause. Well, that's illegible anyway. Out of practice, I'm sorry. Or result. We'll need to take a look at what it says here for specifics. Speiron, so this is going to be the same as theridzon. So I'm just going to pull that down. The sower. Homu, that means together. I suppose we could say at the same time, but that doesn't give the same idea. But hαῖρε here is a verb with eta sub iota. That's going to be a third singular off of the present tense, of course. Hαῖρο right there. And it is active and subjunctive to go with our hina. And this means he rejoices. So that the sower rejoices together, kai, and ho theridzon, that again, don't need to parse it, the harvester. So as a purpose clause, we would have to say that the harvester is gathering together the fruits for life everlasting in order that the sower and the harvester may rejoice together. Or if it's result clause, then we'd be saying the harvester gathers together the fruit for life everlasting with the result that the sower and the harvester together rejoice. And I'm not entirely sure which way we should translate this. We don't have any clear indications of adjectives or adverbs around this, which would indicate a result over a purpose clause. It's the frustrating thing about result and purpose clauses is if you don't speak the language naturally from birth, you can't always tell the difference between them without helps, and we don't have helps. So I suppose the question here is a theological one. Is the harvester doing the work with the purpose of the reward, Or is the harvester doing the work for the work's sake and the reward comes after? So purpose would of course be the first one and result would be the second one. Is the harvester doing it philanthropically, or is the harvester doing it as a hired laborer? And I think logicians would want, some logicians probably, would want the philanthropic one where the harvester is working for the work's sake and the reward is, well, it's a reward. But we have misthon, which is not reward, in the way that one receives a reward not worked for philanthropically. So instead, I think purpose is the correct one here, so that the harvester he's working toward a goal. He's not doing the work because it's right. He's doing the work because he's paid to do it. And then thereafter, he and the sower rejoice together, which is not going to be very happy with certain logical not logicians, ethicists. There we go. I hope that made some sense for you. I'm going to write this down now, so that the sower, and I don't know if Jesus stopped speaking right there, but that's as far as we're going to go. Let's take a look at it in its own context, and then I'll bid you adieu. Do you all yourselves not say that there are still 4 months and the harvest comes? Behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and see the fields cultivated, that they are white for harvest already. Or, already the harvester receives wages and gathers fruit for life everlasting, so that the sower together rejoices and the harvester. Of course, together understood with the harvester. And there we have it. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry for all the rambling. I hope this new, however long it lasts, format of doing just the entire page, these longer videos, are okay with you. If not, if you have better suggestions, let me know. And you have a very good day. Farewell.